Hi, Robert Chambers from AnyKeyMusic.com, teaching you how to master the art of playing piano by ear, and I'm going to do a tutorial for a song requested by an AnyKeyMusic user all the way from the United States of America, and the song we're going to be doing is Tender Love by Force ND. Now, you probably remember my version that sounded like this. Now I gotta tell you a secret. Tutorials that I do at AnyKeyMusic.com is a lot different from what you see online. I mean, online you see ones that look like this. I personally think that those tutorials don't really help you. They give you the answers, and if they just give you the answers, they're allowing you or making you dependent on them to show you the next song. So there's endless amount of songs created every year, so you become more dependent. My job or my preference is really to teach you and empower you, because I know that everybody has the ability to play piano by ear. They just have to be taught how to access that power, and that's exactly what we do with the AnyKeyMusic system. So let's get started. Now the first version that we're going to do is the original version, which is a real simple. It goes like this. All right, nice and simple. All right, so what we do, and as I teach in AnyKeyMusic system, you have some requirements. Okay, one of the requirements are, one, you're going to have to learn how to play by ear because that's the basis for everything. And the next requirement is you want to be able to play in every single key, hence the name AnyKeyMusic system. Now, I just gave the secret. What do I mean by that? You have to be able to take the same song or you get the idea. You got to be able to play comfortably in every single key, which is what we teach, but we're not going to go over that right now. All right, and then you need to understand certain principles. So what we do and what we teach in the AnyKeyMusic system is when you're playing these songs, all you have to do is be taught how to isolate what you're hearing. Once you're able to isolate what you're hearing, that's why you don't need to see anything, all right? Your ears and your mind will work together. So for example, I'm just going to guide you through this song, all right? So in being able to play in every key, then when you're listening to the song as well, you're going to be able to now differentiate what you're hearing, the notes from what's called the numbers. Everything has a number to it. All right. So what I'm going to do, just to make it easy, especially if you are a beginner, I don't want to give all the answers. All right. I'm going to take the song and bring it to the key of C. So I'm going to play it in the key of C, so it's a lot easier. And then as you learn the system, then you should be able to play it in every key and find the correct key that Force MD is actually singing this song in. All right. So let's look at it in the key of C. Okay. So now the song should sound like this in the key of C. Okay, something like that. Okay, so like I said, we're going to isolate it now. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to play what's the right hand playing. Okay, so this is what the right hand's playing. What your job is, now we're in the key of C. Okay, your job is to figure out what I'm playing. So I'm going to cover it. Slip my hand under here. Yes, we're doing it like this. Okay, you try figure this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I'll do it again. That's the first part of the intro, which also works with the verse as well. Okay, it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and the second part of it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I'll do that part again. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right? Did you get that? Just rewind it. Now, what you're supposed to be able to do to get that a lot easier is, number one, you're supposed to press pause. So you press pause on my audio. I can always join you later, and you rewind it. If you didn't get it right away, you rewind it and try it again. Now, in volume 2, those of you that have volume 2, you know that we go into the AnyKeyMusic 6 principles of playing by ear. So you'd probably want to use those things to help you find this answer if you're having challenges. But obviously, it's kind of simple, right? So just press rewind and try and get those notes. Now, here's a little clue. In the AnyKeyMusic system, we teach you what's called grouping, key grouping. Now, here's a little quick demonstration about key grouping.
AKMS incorporates a revolutionary concept called key grouping. Key grouping enables you to know exactly which notes should be used to play the desired song by ear.
Now, obviously, I'm doing the easy part, but this is all you got to be able to do. Got to be able to break down the song. So now let's get to our left hand, okay? And I'm sure you can't see the left hand, all right? So here's the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, 1, 2, 3. I'll do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll do it again. All right. Actually, let's give you a metronome. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Actually, we won't put the metronome for you. Make you have to work a little bit harder. Okay? So 1, this is the left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now, if you didn't get that, all you have to do is rewind it. Now, why do I do all this? Because I can't rob you of the growth that you get. You have to master playing piano by ear, you have to start small, okay? It's like lifting weights. If you can't lift 10 pounds, how are you going to lift a 100-pound weight? And that's the thing that most people are missing, all right? So even though it might sound basic, I'm going to show you how to fill the chords in. But what you got to be able to do is get it at this basic level, all right? So what you should be doing right now, you should be trying both of those parts separately in your left and your right hand. So once you have those things now, then we can move on and put. Okay, now let's put them together. Try it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. My mind wandered a little bit there. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Once you get that in that basic form, you stop and you rejoice. And you rejoice. I don't have to just give you all the answers. I'm going to help you find the answer. Okay, so once you got that, then now we can take a look at how we start filling it out. So now that you're able to do that, obviously you get your knowledge that you learned in Volume 2 on really how to master playing in every key, and then you just take that, what's in C, and then you now transpose it to the key that the song is in, which I'm not going to tell you because I know you got to figure it out, all right? So the original song, once again, is in this key. All right, but we're doing it here in key of C. All right, so this is how I'm going to help you, give you a little clue on how to do it. Like I said, everything has a particular number. Right now, you should know your major scales. If you don't know your major scales, then this tutorial is way over your head, okay? If you do know your major scales, it sounds like this, right? All right, those are your major scales, okay? And so everything has a number. So for example, I just did the C major scale. So what number would be C in the key of C? Okay, what would be the 4 in the key of C? All right, you should be able to count the scale and see what it is. What would be the 6? Now I'm not talking fingering. Obviously you don't have 6 fingers, okay? All right, but what would be the 6 in the key of C? What would be the 2? What would be the 5? You have to know those numbers, okay? So based on that, once you figure out the song, then now you put the numbers to what you played. Okay, so now you have what you played. You identify those numbers. Once you identify those numbers, when you hear that, you're getting used to the sound of the numbers. I gave you a little clue of the AnyKeyMusic system, why it works so well. Because we're not making music complicated. Music is very simple. Okay, so what do you do with that knowledge? Now you take the numbers that you used in the key of C, and then you just now use that to help you find the numbers in the song. Actually, I almost told you the letter or the name of the key that the song is in. All right, you just put it in there. So how do you do that, Robert? Well, just very simple. When your first number that you played in the key of C, as you know, I'll help you out. It was, all right. So that 1, 2, 3, 4. It was your 5. So you know that the first number that you're using in this part of the song is the number 5 in our right hand. So when you listen to the original song, now you're gonna have to do that on your own time. Okay, when you listen to the original song, you go to the number 5, whatever that key is, that's the 5 of a particular key that the song is in. You don't have to wait until the last part of the song to see what it ends off with to figure out what that key is or get lost. You got to get used to the sound of the numbers, okay? So when you hear that number 5 at the beginning, you just got to find what key is that. Here's the good news. You have a 1 in 12 chance of being correct. There's only 12 different keys. And if you say, okay, well, 12 is a little bit stiff, well, you know, I guarantee out of the 88 keys that's right here on your piano, or 61 keys if you have a smaller keyboard, you'll be able to find it eventually. Well, whatever that first note is, when you hear that, that's a 5. So you got to figure out what scale is that the 5 in. Now, if it's way over your head, that means you're still a beginner. Okay? All you got to do is just master volume 1 and start on volume 2, and you start to master that. Then you won't have any issues with playing in every key and understanding numbers. Okay? So now that we have that, we can move on. So now let's take a look at what our bass is doing. So after you know how to play in every key, you identify those numbers, you need to know what is your bass doing, okay? So once again, you know that your bass is doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? You know that your bass is doing, but here's what I cover in volume 3, and I go into more detail, or one of the exercises is it's called accessories. Okay, accessories. All it does, it accessorizes or enhances whatever it's added to. All right. Now, if you have a car and you add rims to it, it actually just enhances the appearance of the car. Now, let's say you added those rims to a car where the engine is bad. There's dirt in the engine and the oil hasn't been changed and, you know, it's leaking oil and all that stuff. It might look good, but the inside is rotten, so it can't get very far. I'm not saying that that's one of you guys, but what I'm saying is that a lot of people travel like that. A lot of the courses out there, they're teaching you a lot of accessories, how to do these nice runs and all that kind of stuff, you know, and all that stuff, but you don't know how to play. All right, so it doesn't really help you, okay? So those are what I call accessories. Nothing wrong with them, but if you haven't fixed the insides of the car, then having accessories is not going to help you. All right, so now I'm going to let you hear a little bit of accessories from Volume 3. Here we go.
All right, now that we got our right hand set, let's take a closer look at these accessories. And in this closer look, you'll see that accessories is just a whole lot of patterns, musical patterns. All right, so what we're going to do with on this track is only root patterns, only patterns with our left hand using the root. Okay, but you're going to have to figure out which root we're using, okay, and what is the pattern. I'll just tell you right now that it's just the one, but it's a different type of one, and it might have a different feel or different rhythmic pattern. And that just means the way you play it. Okay, are you ready to get started? All right, this is how it's going to work. I'm going to first play the left hand pattern I want you to figure out. I'm going to do it for 4 sets. Then the next 4 sets, I want you to play the left hand pattern and play along with me. Then the next 4 sets, I want you to play your left hand pattern as well with your right hand playing the regular chords. Then the next 4 sets pattern after that, your left hand's going to play that new pattern and your right hand's going to play the alternate chords. Okay, so the first time through, it's just going to be your left hand or my left hand by itself. Then the next time through is going to be your left hand along with my left hand. Then the next time after that, you're going to play your left hand pattern along with your right hand regular chords. And then the next time, your left hand plays the pattern and your right hand plays the alternate chords. All right, you'll get the hang of it as we go along. So here we go. It's going to be after the count of 2. Are you ready? Okay, we're starting with your left hand. Are you ready for that? Great job. Here we go after 2. 1, 2. Now play along. Now your regular chords. Alternate chords. Great job. Did you get that? If not, just rewind it and do it again. All right, let's go to the next pattern. You'll notice from listening to this one that it's going to sound pretty much like the one we just did. The only difference is we're actually using octaves, which just means, you know what it means actually. Great job. All right, let's go to the next example. All right, with this pattern, you're going to see that we're using octaves again, but just slightly a little different. All right, are you ready? Here we go after 2. 1, 2. Play along. Regular chords. Alternate chords. Great job. All right, here's the next example, still with the root. After 2, here we go. 1, 2. Come on. Regular chords. alternate. Great job. But let's move on. Let's go do another set of accessories. This time we're going to deal with a 1-5 pattern. All right, so we're only going to be using 1 and 5. So it's going to be up to you to figure out what type of pattern or figure out the pattern. All right, so that you can be able to play it. Once again, we're going to do 4 sets of myself playing it with my left hand. Then the next 4 sets, I want you to play along with your left hand alone. Then the next 4 sets, my left hand as well as the right hand regular chords, which you're going to be playing along with me. Then we're going to do 4 sets of the left hand and the right hand playing the alternate chords as well. All right, so you know this drill. We did it the last time. So are you ready? So we're going to start off with the left hand alone by itself. You can listen for the first time until you get it, then you play along, and then we go further. All right, are you ready? And actually, before we just begin, remember that these patterns, I know the song that we did previously, we just did Mary Had a Little Lamb for the 1 patterns, and there was only, the chords that we used in that song were only chords for the 1 and the 5. So we only use the 1 and the 5 chords. Now, if you were to ask me, does this work on the 4 chords? Of course it works on the 4 chords. Whatever pattern you use, if it's a 1-5 pattern, it's a 1 pattern. Whatever the chord that you're using it on. For example, if we're doing this pattern, if the song has a 4 in it, we're going to use it there. If it has a 5 in it, it's going to work there. If it has a 6, which we're going to get into a little bit later, it works there. So whatever the chord is, the pattern works on that chord. All right, so anyways, here we go. It's going to go after 2. We're going to do our left hand 1 and 5 patterns. Here we go. 1, 2. Play along. Regular chords. Alternate chords. Great job. Did you get it? If you didn't, just rewind it and then get it. And what you'd want to do, just immediately pause the CD and try it in every key right away so that it's a little bit easier as we move on. Okay, so let's go to the next one.
So that was the 1-5 accessory, okay? So what does that mean? 1-5, once again, it goes back to numbers. That's why it's so important to play in every key. You can sound like a broken record, okay? So now let's look at that and apply that to playing. When we use that 1-5 accessory, this is what it sounds like, okay? So what I mean by 1-5, it's like why I call it the AnyKeyMusic system, because you apply everything to every key, all right? So you know in the key of C, 1, you have your 1 and you have your 5. So what you do now is you apply that to all the numbers. So now you know you're doing this. So all you do now, you add your 1-5 accessory. So one of them could be, you can do this. And that's, or this. All right, now let me show you how it works with the song. It sounds like this. That's a remix version. Okay, do you get the idea? Let me do it one more time. I'm going to use the 1-5. This time I'm going to use the 1-5-1 accessory. Okay, but it's going to sound like this. 1-5-1. All right, something you might have heard before. Music is so simple. So I'm going to add the 1-5-1 and sometime I'm going to use a 1-5. Okay, but it sounds like this. I just feel like landing here. But anyways, I should land here. But anyhow, did you see that? I did the 1-5-1 pattern, but I did it quick. Oh, da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Don't mind the singing, okay? That's called accessories, all right? So in volume 3, so obviously your AnyKeyMusic members, what you do, you go to volume 3 and you start to master those on volume 3. I mean, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of accessories that you can use. That's all it is. They're just using accessories once you have that bass line. So once again, we have now... I'm just adding that extra part. But, all right? So now that you have that, now we can move on to the other part. Now with your right hand, also, after you learn how to play, you have to play in every key, understand accessories, understand why you change chords. And that's another thing. I'm not going to go into now why you change chords. But then now you can add what I call progressions with the melody. So where you're playing the chords with the melody with it. Okay? So now with your right hand, you're going to actually do the chords. So what you do is you look at what chord goes with what. So for example, I have in volume 3 what I call indicator notes. They indicate to you what chord you should play. All right, so if we're in the key of C and we have, what number is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so you have that. So there, I know how we have in terms of indicator notes, you can use certain chords when it's the 5. When the chord is a 5, then you can look at the chords that have the 5 in it. Okay, so right now, the basic chord that we know has a 1. So we keep it basic. Keep it basic. 1, 4, or 5. Now I go into reasons later, and obviously we can do that another time. Okay, so you have your 5. So I'm going to use my 1 chord. So now when I have it at the beginning, all right, so I play my 1 chord, and there's obviously in volume 4 I have reasons what it's called secondary slash chords or primary slash chords. All right, this is one of them. This is a secondary slash chord, which is a 1 over the 4. Okay, but why it works is because your indicator note is a 5, and the 5 is in the 1 chord. All right, I hope you get these nuggets. If you're not getting it, just press rewind. Okay, all right, so now you have your 1. And even though you have your 1, right, that chord is what? That note, actually, is a 2. And when you go for your indicator notes, you're going to know what chord you use on your 2. Volume 3, you should find that out in terms of your indicator note. Right? And then you can, your indicator note, that number. All right, what number is that? You should be able to answer it. If you can't answer it, just complete volumes 1 and 2. Okay? And then you'll be able to answer that. So now let's put all those together. I'm going to put my indicator notes with my chord at my top, my right hand, and then I'm also going to add my left hand accessories. Okay? That's how we put it together. Now listen, this is what it sounds like. Now I added a couple chords there. But with my left hand, I jumped in on chords because you got to be versatile. Both hands have to be able to play the chord. This is what I call substitution. So when the indicator note is here, I have my substitution, which is also covered in volume 3 and volume 4. Alright, that's also on volume 4, which is another secondary slash chord. Why this works is very simple. Everything is basically a 1, 4, and 5, okay? But you just got to be able to see it in any key, hence AnyKeyMusic system, okay? So that's going to be able to help you in terms of the chord, what you put on there, okay? Alright, so let's move on. So that you know, that intro is used actually pretty much throughout the whole song, except for the second part. The second part sounds like this. Alright, so that's what it sounds like in the original key. Alright, but I'm going to bring it down to the key of C so it's easier to see, pun intended. Okay, and it should sound like this in the key of C. I added that part. So once again, we're going to break that part down again, and you're going to have to do it yourself. Okay? So here we go. So here comes the cover again. All right? First of all, you want to be able to get the melody. Okay? So the melody sounds like that. This. And it's up to you if you want to add. All right? But I won't put that in right now. All right? But it sounds like this. What you're going to do is chords. All right. Now let me just do it individual chords. Individual notes, because that's what's most important. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. All right. I'll do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, you should be able to figure it out. Okay? And the next part we have to get is our left hand. So let's get our left hand. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? I'll do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Trust me, it doesn't matter how long it takes to get a song. What you focus on, how it's going to feel when you get it. See, when you play by ear this way, once you get it, you're going to feel, yeah, I did it. I accomplished it. Not somebody told me. I accomplished it. And once you get that feeling, it helps you and gives you more encouragement to actually figure out other songs. So I would never rob you of that, all right? I know it's going kind of long, but I would never rob you of that. This is what it takes to play by ear properly. Actually, it's a lot easier once you complete all volumes 1 to 4 of the AnyKeyMusic system, all right? So that's your left hand. Okay, so now let's put those two together. Alright, gotta cover it up. I'll do it one more time with both hands. Just basic, just simple melody, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. Okay? Very good. Now we're going to put those two together and we're going to add some left hand accessories. Now I'm going to do the basic version that they actually have on the song. But I'm also going to do a little bit more advanced. It's still kind of basic and advanced, whereas I'm actually going to be playing the melody with the chord with the left hand accessory. Okay? But it's still kind of, I think it's kind of basic, but basic meaning once you actually get to a certain level, it's going to be basic. Okay? But here's the basic version that's on the actual CD. It's like this. They don't even play the melody, so I won't even play the melody. But we're going to do the part. We're going to do that part. So there's a left hand accessory. So here it is. Alright, this time I'm going to do it again, and I'm not going to sing. Okay? So it sounds like this. Da da 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright? Now I'm going to add that melody and left hand accessory. So 1, 3, 5, and I will put a 1, 5, 1 in there as well. Okay? That's it. So let me teach you exactly what I did, okay? Obviously, I'm not going to be that hard, but for the other tutorials after this, the ones that I do in AnyKeyMusic, yes, you're going to have to do it all by yourself, okay? So we have the melody here, alright? Alright, and as you'll know, you're going to know when we learn about substitutions why we can use this chord, the A minor there, alright? Okay? That's in the right hand. Melody. And then the chord. Right? Okay? And that's when our left hand jumps in, and I'm going to do a 1, 3, 5, which because it's a minor chord, it's still a 3, but it's the flat third. Okay? Of that chord. Okay? Alright, hear that? Da, da. Left hand plays a 1, 3, 5 accessory. And then the next part. Alright, so I do the 3, 2, and then I use my diminished chord, which is a minor, also minor flat 5, of A flat. Now this will be probably one of the only times where you're going to hear me telling exactly what I'm playing, because I don't believe that's the answer. I believe, as you know, teach you how to find it, and it's covered all in the course. But anyhow, so melody, and what I played in my left hand was a, if E was the 1, I used an accessory with the 1, the 5, and the flat 7 of E. Now the reason why I use a flat 7, because that's the chord that we're using at the time. Alright, it's really, I would, as a principle, I would say it's a 1, 5, 7 accessory, right? But if it's a dominant chord, that means I have to use the flat 7. It's a major 7, I will use the 7 that's in the actual key, okay? And concerning major 7s, flat 7s, and G7s and stuff like that, you got to see one of my blogs about that, or make sure you take a look at that, because actually the naming of that chord, how they name it, is incorrect, and that actually adds to the reason why people are getting kind of confused in music. Anyways, that's another topic. Make sure you check it out. Type in Errors in Traditional Music Theory by Robert Chambers and look at the G7. Look at my explanation on that. Okay, but here we go. Alright, so you need to know that's the diminished, right? If you go to volume 4, you're going to see how do you use a diminished chord. Alright, so a lot of people are teaching you all these things, but really it's very simple. Once you understand how to use a diminished chord, this makes complete sense, okay? So we have, alright, alright, keep my diminished, but I still play the melody, alright, alright, so when, alright, look at my indicator note. My indicator note is a 1, so what chord can I play for my 1? Go to volume 3, CD 3, tracks 1 to 7. Do all those exercises, you'll know exactly why it works, okay? Right? Here we go. Alright, I'm playing my 4 over my 2. Alright, volume 4 also has lots of other chords, so like, you can even do stuff like that. We're not going to make it complicated right now, alright? It's 4 over 2. And in my chord, I have some of the melody. Now, you don't have to do that unless you're playing solo piano, alright? And then we go to the next part. It's a 2 over flat 7, but more than a 2 over flat 7, it's a typical chord that we use to get a major 7 chord, okay? So we have a 2 over flat 7, we have a 1 over 6, we have a flat 7 over 5, and then a 1, okay? So once again, that's 2 over flat 7, which is secondary slash chord, 1 over 6, secondary slash chord, flat 7 over 5, 1, okay? So now let me put that part together. And I use the second inversion for my 1 chord. All right, and then it goes back to this. That part, your left hand plays a D minor. Why does it play a D minor? Because you got to look at your indicator note. What's the indicator note? The indicator note is this. What number is this in the key of C? 1, 2, 3. All right, okay. If the indicator note is a 4, what chord can we play? We know that we can play a 4. What can you substitute for a 4? You can substitute what? You can substitute a 2 for a 4, okay? So that's why it works. There it is. All right, you can substitute 2 for the 4. So originally it's a 4. You can substitute 2. And all of this I covered in the course. All right? So that's why you can play the 2. But why can, now the indicator note is 1. Why can we play a flat 7 chord? I'm not going to give you the answer to that. You got to go search for it. All right? But right now when we play this on the 1, the chord that we play is a flat 7, which is B flat in the key of C, and we're playing a major chord on it. And there's reasons why that major works, and sometimes you can play a major 7 on the B flat as well, which is the full chord that they have. All right? So if we put it together, I'll do it again. Next part. You got it? All right, good job. Now the other part I like to add is because I hear them sing it. Now when the guy plays it, he doesn't put it in. All right, so he doesn't sing that part. Sorry, they don't play that part in the actual recording, but when I'm playing instrumental, because I play what I hear, I think that's a key line. So in my instrumental version, I actually put it in. Okay, so what happens on that part is just, you know, you have this, and when you have that, all right, you do your left hand accessory on the A minor chord, the 1 flat 3 5 accessory on your left hand, and you play your minor chord here, and then what happens is now your both hands come and work together, and you actually play your E minor, which is your 3, and your 4, and your 3 again. All right, so when I talk about my 3, I'm talking about the chord that happens on the 3. Okay, so those of you that are a little bit more advanced, you know what chord we have on our 3. If you don't know what chord we have on our 3, I'm not going to tell you, because once again, I'm not going to rob you, and just giving you the answers is not helping you. All right, so go through the stages so that you'll understand music and really retain everything. Okay, so go through all the stages of the AnyKeyMusic system and then come back to this, and it'll make more sense. All right, so the chord we play on the 3 and the chord we play on the 4. All right, so when we put those together, it sounds like this. And then a couple of the notes, so 2 of my fingers, my right hand, I play, and one finger for my left hand, I play the other note of the triad of that 3 chord. And then I just do that. While I hold this. That almost sounds like a song. Alright, that's not that. But anyhow, okay, so that's the only part. Alright, but also, obviously, that's in the original key. The original key sounds like this. And what I did, all I did there in the original, to make it have more body, instead of playing my left hand accessory up here, which is close, I brought it 1 octave lower. And instead of doing the 1 3 5, which is 1 flat 3 5 accessory in my left hand, what I did, I just did more of the 1 5 1. All right, and then I kind of share the wealth in terms of that chord as well in my advanced version. right? And I actually did a different chord, all right? I'm not going to go into now, and I did a run like this, and I did all of that stuff. But obviously, we want to make sure we get this part first. And once we have this, I can go into the modes a little bit later on what I did in terms of the little runs. The runs I did are just simple major scales, okay? That's why I say know your major scales, all right? I just know how to use a major scale, and it just looks more advanced, but it really isn't, okay? So just trust me on that. It's more important to not just learn that run. It's more important to understand how am I using this run, okay? And I know that's what you want to learn, okay? And that's what I teach in the system, okay? So back to the key of C. So that is pretty much the whole song. So hopefully you got the idea. And I think another time I'll do the real advanced things that I have or some of the runs. Actually, you know, I will show you some of them. Okay, here's one of the accessories that I use, all right? Watch this. So when you have, this is the original key now. So when you have, all right, what I did when I was playing it, I did this. The more my advanced version, I did this. Do you see that? All right, I knew, okay, it's very simple. This is what I call accessories, as you know, right? But not only accessories, another family of the accessories is what's called left-hand approaches or right-hand approaches. And those approaches have different things in them, all right? So this is also in volume 3 and especially volume 4. So the approaches are very simple. I know I wanted to get to my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all right? So now I just took a numbers approach to get to my 5. So it's very simple, all right? So if I want to get to my 5, I just took a 4 number approach to get to my 5 coming from below, okay? So let me teach you what I mean, okay? So let me go back in the key of C so that you understand it. So I'm here. All right, so that's a numbers approach. What did I do? It's very simple. I wanted to get here, so instead of doing a 1 number approach, which would be the number in that scale, all right, a 1 number approach or a 2 number approach, which is, or a 3 number approach, or here's my 4 number approach. There it is, all right? So let me just show you how it is if I used it in the 1 number approach. All right, so let's say I did it like this. I'm going to do a 1 number approach. Did you hear that? That was a 1 number approach. Now I'm going to do a 2 number approach. Did you hear that? That's a 2 number approach, all right? So when I'm playing, it's very intentional. It's not hit and miss. I'm not guessing. I am feeling the music, but I understand what I'm doing, okay? So now let me do a 3 number approach. See that? Now what you have to do is you have to know how much time you have and you make it fit within that time, okay? Now I'm going to do my 4 number approach. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 numbers below my destination, okay? So that's one of the principles that I used in there. Another one is, now unfortunately I don't have all the time to actually go into all the advanced things that I use in my improv version of Tender Love, but I do have some I'm going to give to you. Here's another one that I did. I did this, all right, that came in after this. All right, so I did that, all right? Now in the key of C, it sounds like this. Okay? All I did was very simple. I understand, like I said, what's modes. I understand how to use a basic scale. So let me show you the hidden truth behind that basic run. It's so simple. I don't have to teach you this complicated run. All I have to do is say, do you know a major scale? How about this? Do you know the F major scale? Huh? All right, the F major scale. That's all I did. Okay, so all right, all I did, but I obviously have to know more than one octave of the F major scale. All right, so you practice basic things. You got to be able to play your F major scale. But what I did in my left hand, I just started from the sixth degree, or the sixth number of that scale, of the F major scale. All right, and I ended up at this number, which is my 4. All right, and what I balanced it off is, all right, so I kept the melody, but I added my left hand doing a little run. All right, I'll do it again. Okay, now, but what I also did with this right hand, because I like to practice this, and this is what I call, it's coming from my series, Practice Routines, which is also going to be in my membership area, coming soon, my advanced membership area, which I've been telling everybody about since last year, 2011. It is going to be great. I thought I'd be finished like 7 months ago, but it's taken longer than I thought because it's going to be that good. All right, but I call this, and I don't have this on the actual CD, but in membership I do have it, where you practice your major scales instead of just practicing at just 1 octave, or 2 octaves, or 3 or 4, which is important. You have to. We start now practicing them in thirds. All right, so if I did it in a key of F, okay, so all I did is incorporate that now. I don't just practice things just because I want to practice them. No, I practice them because I want to use them in songs. Okay, so for that, so instead of going, I can't play the melody and stretch. See this hand? I can't go any further. Okay, so what I did, I played the melody, or here, and then when I get to here, I add a third, which is the minor third of this, okay? Which is in thirds, I jump in back on the scale. So just adds a nice little flair there. All right, you should try it. So this hand will sound like this. All right, that's one hand. All right, do you see that? So one hand does a lot. All right, and obviously I did that in the key of C. Now there's many more accessories. Now I'm going to have to save it for another time. But this is what I want you to do. I want you to figure out what key that song is in. And I hope you don't do a Google search or go to those tutorials that tell you it's in this key. You got to learn how to figure this stuff out for yourself. All right, so I'll be coming with a lot more. As you can see, yes, there's a lot of my babbling, but at the same time, I want to empower you to figure out the answers, and you can figure out the answers yourself. All right, if you have any questions, send me an email, and I would address it. And just like this AnyKeyMusic member did, they actually have the full course, all 4 volumes. So I allow them to ask me the questions because I can tell them what they need to work on. So if you have any questions, AnyKeyMusic questions, please give me a call, all right? And I'll be teaching you how to master the art of playing piano by ear this year. God bless.
AnyKeyMusic.com